I'm a firm believer that the place you work has to be a great place to be. Since I started YouTube a while ago, a goal of mine was to always have a space to be creative in, a room really dedicated to making cool things, and I think I've finally gotten there. So let me take you on the grand tour. Let's start with the desk. I've had this for a good while now and it's all from IKEA. The wooden tabletop is called a Carlby and the one I have here is the 186cm version, and it's supposed to be for a kitchen, but I think it works really well as a desk. The drawers on the left are the Alex set and I have a trestle here on the right. The top isn't being held on by anything, it's literally the weight of the tabletop that's holding everything together. A few more eagle-eyed people out there might realise that the trestle is also 1cm higher than the Alex drawer set, but this doesn't seem to affect anything. It's all very sturdy and I've had no issues with wobble or anything like that. I love this desk, and since I invested in it, I really haven't looked back or wanted anything more. It's huge and it's so nice being able to really spread out and use the space. Most of my B-roll is shot on here in one way or another too, and the texture and colour also fit well with the room. Powering the entire setup is my custom built PC, which I've had for a couple of years now, and generally speaking it's been pretty good. Spec wise we're rocking an i7-700K processor, 32GB of RAM and a GTX 1070 Ti for graphics. In terms of storage, the whole system is powered by SSDs to help keep things nice and snappy. First off, I have a 256GB M2 SSD, which is what I call my project drive. All my current video and photo projects sit on here for quick and easy access, and so I have the fastest possible speeds when editing. Under that I have two more standard SSDs, and this is where I must say a huge thanks to Kingston for sending out their KC600 drive. This is the 512GB version, and it's where I have the Windows OS installed. If you're new to building a PC or you just want a way of speeding up your existing PC, then an SSD really is the way to go. Not only are your startup times way better, but you see heavy speed improvements across the board. I really recommend it, and I've used Kingston SSDs for a long time, even before they sent this one out, and I've never had any complaints of them. They've been completely rock solid for me. I do have a 2TB hard drive kicking around in the PC as well, however my main storage has now moved to an external lacy USB-C 5TB drive, which so far has been enough space for me to back up most of my video work. It's all housed in a white NZXT S340 case, which I love. I've got to admit I'm not a huge fan of PC cases in general, but this one feels just right for the aesthetic I'm going for, so I'm happy enough with how it all looks. I also keep RGB to a minimum, so I set all the lights to a very standard white. That brings us over to the keyboard. Currently I'm using the iQuinix F96 Coral C wireless mechanical keyboard, and it's great. I didn't think anything could drag me away from the Microsoft Surface keyboard I've been using for the past couple of years, but this one has. I love the clack of the cherry red switches inside, I love the colour of the keys, and I love the fact that it's wireless while still being a mechanical keyboard. I did do a full review on this, so it's worth checking out if you want to know more, but overall, while it is pricey, it's a lovely bit of kit. Mouse-wise, nothing has changed here in years. This is the Logitech MX Master, the first edition I believe, and it's comfortable, the battery lasts ages, and it's pretty customizable too. Aside from its dated appearance, it's a really great mouse. For the monitor, I'm using the BenQ EU3270U, which is a 4K 32-inch screen beast. For content creation, I'm a big fan of using a large display. It really lets you stretch out on programs like Premiere Pro and make full use of that super long timeline. It's also good fun for gaming too, although I find I have less and less time for that recently. Speaker wise, I'm not mad into using headphones, so I'll always shoot for PC speakers if I can, and I've been using these Ruark Audio MR1 Mark IIs for a good while now. They've got an amazing sound, they look great, and they're also Bluetooth enabled if you want to connect multiple devices. Rounding up the desk is this wireless charger from Carve 2, which is the most beautiful looking wireless charger I've found online, and I usually just toss my phone on there when I'm sitting at my desk. Moving away from the desk, one of my favourite additions to the office space as a whole is the expansion of these IKEA pegboards. I've got two now, and in a way they both serve very different purposes. The one on the right, more than anything, is for decoration. I tend to throw a lot of art on here that can't go on the wall, or just use it to hold little things. But the one on the left has turned into my charging wall. I've got everything I regularly charge up on here, all my camera batteries, my video light batteries, my Fuji batteries, and I even have my Switch light charging from here too. It's a really fantastic use of the board, and it means after every shoot I can just throw everything up on here and I know it's ready for the next day. If you're wondering how it's all held up, well, it's just sticky Velcro, so it's nothing too complicated. I've got some other little bits on here too, like business cards and of course more artwork. I feel like I could make an entire video around this, so if that's something you'd like to see, then let me know in a comment below. I can't take absolute credit for this idea though. I saw something on Twitter by a filmmaker named Arnie, and I'll link that in the description so you can see it. That brings us neatly round to my camera shelf. I've had this in all of my previous setups and it's still serving its purpose really well. I keep all of my camera gear out and on here for easy access, so I can quickly grab it if I have an idea of something to shoot or film. I'm still using the Sony a7 III for all of my video work and most of my photography work, so that sits on top. Lenses take up the second shelf, and below that is the Canon AE1 along with any other film related paraphernalia. The bottom shelf is now completely full with the props I use to make videos, so at the moment that's a lot of Japanese style drinks. I got this stand from a discount store here in the UK, and it's usually meant for the bathroom, so if you're looking for something similar, look in the bathroom section. Moving to the other side of the room, I've always wanted a place to shoot A-roll in for a really long time, and with the bigger space I had to work in, I ended up picking up a small sofa from made.com. I'll admit it was expensive for what it is, but I love the design of it, and it's been pretty ideal for those 2 camera shots. If you watched my channel recently, you would have seen me sitting in it for sure. Aside from that, it's actually just a nice place to sit and write scripts for videos, or just to chill out and edit photos in. Above the sofa, the wall is full of artwork that I really admire. Aside from some classic Ghibli posters, I try my best to help support independent artists on Instagram and buy their prints if I can. They've all got a bit of a Japanese overarching theme which I really like, and it matches the rest of the setup well. Having art hang on the wall really adds that personal touch to your space. Sometimes these overly white office spaces can look really sterile, so putting some colour on the walls with cool art can really help it feel more unique. On the left hand side of the desk I have another IKEA purchase. This is a storage trolley on wheels, and if you've ever been to an IKEA store, they're literally littered all over the place. I use this mainly as a fluid space, meaning nothing in here really ever stays in there that long. It's just stuff I need at that moment, which usually means things like video lights, audio recording gear, or sometimes I just use it as a stand on wheels for holding things like plants or other props. Lastly, I have a built-in cupboard which I use for all manner of storage, mainly microphone stands, light stands and product boxes, but it's a total mess, so other than showing you briefly, I'll keep those doors shut. Eventually I'd love to build in some shelving so I can store things a little better, but for now it's totally fine. That really rounds up the entire office. To echo what I said at the start, having a place you're keen to work in makes a real difference to your output. I'm happy to sit in here all day and work if I need to, and I've enjoyed throwing it together in a way that makes perfect sense for me. If you're someone who works from home a lot or are just starting to, I would really encourage you to make your own working space amazing to be in. You won't regret it. So there we have it. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, then please head over to that subscribe button and pop a like on the way too, and I will see you all in the next one. Hello, I just realised I didn't talk about this chair, which is from IKEA as well as everything is in this room. It's called the Langford or something. It's like £100, but it's much nicer than the one I had before. It comes in a few colours as well, but I like it in this blue, which offsets the room quite nicely. But you can get it in white and pink and some other colours too. It's worth having a nice chair if you're going to sit in your office for a really long time like I do, something that supports your back. This is nice as well, it's got no sides, which means I can play guitar or something, which is really useful and something I do a lot, so I need to make sure that it has no sides. That's why I like that chair. I will link it below as well. Bye.